all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Basham, Racha Kwadash, double honor to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akiam. And this is your brother Abawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Basham, Racha Kwadash, all praises and glory is due. I am just going to go right into it. The title of this video will be probably something along the lines of controlled opposition, right? Um, what does it mean, or what does that mean? Something along those lines. And basically, with the recent events that have been going on this past week, first and foremost, you had the ISUPK and that documentary that came out about them, a basic self-report, a scathing documentary against the ministry. And when in that, I don't need to really need to say anything about what's happened in the documentary, because the apostles and the elders have already broken it down and gone into that. Then you also have Genesis Hebrew Israelite camp, with one of the old deacons in one of the ex-members of Sikari, the ex-deacons of Sikari, that ultimately came out and did a post talking about how, rather, he did a post to a video he did talking about how the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone were, grapists, or at least they said that, they wanted to grape little children. And this is something that, this is something that a lot of these other Hebrew Israelite camps have been doing in order to put blame on the ministry and try to vilify the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone, even though they had never been a time when the apostles or the elders ever said that they themselves, they personally, are trying to, uh, of course, the scripture has the great doctrine, which is, that's what's in the scriptures, and that's how the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai set it up. Okay, but a lot of our people just can't receive the words of truth. Okay, because you know how the people of this kingdom are, they would rather take only what is socially acceptable, what is that was what I'm looking for, what is what I'm looking for. So okay, politically correct. Yes, they would rather take what is politically correct in the scriptures and use it. That's why if you ask a Christian if slavery is in the scripture, that's when you start hearing, well, that's not what that means. That's not, and it's exactly what it means. Okay, you can buy or sell human beings. That is the slavery that is in the scriptures. And the Christians will not start denying it and denying. That's why you have guys like Woke Up and other wacky Christians that will tell you, oh well, the Most High doesn't have a people that he hates. The Most High loves all people, this and that, and that's not how this works. And that's probably I'll probably have to do another video on that. Basically going into the fact that there is no human race. Okay, we are not all one, like Esau Edom keeps trying to deceive you, dumbass Negroes out here, into believing, right? But we are all different groups of people, different. We might all be humans, but we're not one race, and that's basically what's going on with not just the not the ISUPK in this case, but with that with the Genesis Hebrew Israelite camp. Okay, they were offended by the words of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and now they are trying to make it seem as though we are the ones that are saying that, oh, you have to be going around, you have to be going, and this is how they take your words out of context. Now they're making it look like, we're just saying that, oh, you have to be, you can go around and start just raping little children or something like that. That's not what this is about, man. This isn't. This isn't. We're not Edomites out here now. What's going on, right? We're not Edomites out here. We're not going around running around raping little children. We're not Edomites out here. We're not, sellout jakes out here, man. What's all this now? Shit. Anyway, let's just go into anyway, and this just shows you that you have some men that ultimately they came into this truth, but they don't even understand the full doctrine. They don't understand what they are involved in, and they can't receive the 100% truth. So this is the book of Galatians 2 verse 4. And that because of false brethren unawares brought in, who came in privily to spy out our liberty, which we have in Hamashiach Hawashai, that they might bring us into bondage. And when you watch the video that the Sikari did going into this topic, they said that, oh well, if you are a brother in the Great Millstone and that you don't believe in the the grave doctrine and this and that you are free to join Genesis. And that's just how And that just shows you, man, that these guys don't have the truth. The Most High is not dealing with them because the great doctrine is a part of the scriptures. And if and let's try that, right? Why don't no, so David, no, so not able to say anything because there's no point in debating those niggas, man. But ultimately, you have to ultimately, if the opportunity ever arises, you have to ask them that look, isn't the great doctrine in the scriptures? Isn't that what, if you go into the book of, I think that's Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter or the 25th chapter, isn't that what it says? They can't say that, oh, it's not, because it's clearly written there, right? But you see, these dudes, they're not interested in what is in the scriptures. But let's keep it, moving, let's keep it going. So this is the book of Daniel 12, verse 9. And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. That's right. And that's once again, showing that the spirit isn't dealing with those guys, man, because they don't understand these parts of the scriptures. And it's the same thing with the ISUPK, right? They still see themselves as quote unquote black people, black Hebrew Israelites, right? Like there's a white or a gray, or let's just follow, the dumbass terminology that Esau Edom uses. A brown Hebrew Israelite that consists of Hispanics, which is, that is not even, which is I don't even know what it is, what Hispanic is. It's not a language because the language is actually Spanish. But Hispanic is just a region, right? Hispaniola is was the Dominican Republic now, and that just shows you the confusion in the way that Esau Edom names a group of people, man. Hispanics, um, Asian Hebrew Israelites, East Indian Hebrew Israelites. This is American Hebrew. That's not what we're doing out here, man. We're just simply the Hebrew Israelites because we are the people of the Most High, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Rakakodash. Not, and no any extra qualifiers has to be put into it. And this is not a black thing. It's a Hebrew Israelite thing, okay? But, ultimately, like I said, a lot of these guys don't really understand the scriptures because just more evidence that the spirit is not dealing with them. Anyway, back to the topic of what we're talking about, because you have a lot of the apostles and the elders that believe that some of these guys might actually be agents, right? And I did a video previously about COINTEL Pro, which is something that happened, which is when the FBI was sending actual agents to infiltrate different civil rights organizations, right? The Black Panther Party, the Martin Luther King's thing, the Nation of Islam, so on and so forth. So you have a history of the U.S. government, right, of Esau Edom using agents to actually infiltrate various organizations that they believed posed a threat to quote unquote national security, right? And it's still the same thing that's going on even up to today. Of course, they don't call it COINTEL Pro anymore. They've probably given it a new, shinier, different name, right? Rebranded it in order to use it and make use of it better. So basically, man, what I'm saying is that Esau Edom has put agents in these truths, right? And that's just basic, and that's something that is already well understood in this truth. So this is the definition of controlled opposition from urbandictionary.com, which is the only place that I could find to get a proper definition of it, right? Because these are two words, or I should say a compound word. So a controlled opposition is a protest movement that is actually being led by government agencies. Nearly all governments in history have employed this technique to trick and subdue their adversaries. Notably, Vladimir Lenin, who said the best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. And that's exactly what Historidom is trying to pull. And let me get the second definition. Controlled opposition, a strategy in which an individual, organization, or movement is covertly controlled or influenced by a third party, and the controlled entities through true purpose is something other than its publicly stated purpose. The controlled entity serves a role of mass deception, surveillance, and or political social manipulation. In most cases, the controlled party is portrayed as being in opposition to the interests of the controlling party. Right, so even Esau is not above using controlled opposition, right? This is how these devils operate. Even the scriptures tells you that the devil woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, right? This is how Esau operates. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink to look upon his nakedness. So this is the book of Habakkuk 2 verse 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on the nakedness or that may just look on their nakedness. That's exactly how Esau Edom operates, right? He influences our people. After all, it's not written that the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. And he put that, he influences our people, right, through his philosophies, through his doctrines, his dogma, which is the wine. And then when Jake takes a drink of that wine, man, he looks upon their nakedness. Basically, he exposes them as being wicked, even though he was the one that led them into their wickedness. And that doesn't change the fact that Jake is being wicked, man. But ultimately, it's still ultimately, Esau is still going to get punished for this, right? Of course, our people are in wickedness and they are going to get judged for that, right? Whether we are because the men of the Lord are out here right now, there's no longer the excuse of, oh well, Esau was pushing this and that's all I knew and I didn't know about this truth. There's no longer that excuse anymore. Everybody knows about the truth right now. You go on TikTok and you see all these nigga women and all these sweet fruity dudes talking about how, oh, the Hebrew Israelites are doing this, the Hebrew Israelites are doing that. They have the elder man Zagba has been doing video upon video upon video upon video of exactly that. So there is no excuse anymore for anybody to be out here saying that they've never heard of the Hebrew Israelites or they've never heard of the truth. Ultimately, what this shows is that our people are more interested in the doctrines and the madness that Esau Edom pushes rather than the truth of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So now Habakkuk 2 verse 16, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and the shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Right? And ultimately, the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to make Esau Edom drink of his own cup, which is the cup of the indignation that the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has prepared for Esau Edom, which is what Allah Yahweh Shai is coming with. Okay, and now I've read this. Yeah, like I was saying, right? I was actually not thoughts like yeah, but yeah, I think I've already read all of this. But yeah, like I was saying, and let me just go and hold these precepts before I forget about it right now, because this is the main precept. This is the main precept I wanted to bring out. As I was saying, you have all this agent activity going on in this truth, man. With the way that some of these other camps are moving and are acting and are just changing their doctrine, not only changing the doctrine but waxing worse and worse. Every other month a camp comes out with a new doctrine that is just completely off, and you just have to be like, what the hell is going on out here? And the only explanation is that they must have been given a bag, or they must have been set up by Esau Edom to try to come against this truth in order to, whether it is beat back the momentum that this truth is currently it's currently having, because the word of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going forth throughout the four corners of the earth, and everybody is hearing the word of the Most High, is hearing this truth. And you have a lot of our people that are coming into the truth and repenting ultimately, and you also have even far more of our people that are bugging out and just rejecting it, right? Or if to sow discord in this truth and ultimately try to crumble it or break it apart, which of course we know that that will not happen. So let's start from there. After all, it is written that if this counsel be of, and that was ultimately why COINTELPRO back during the civil rights era worked, right? Because all those groups, whether it's the Black Panther Party, hell, the Nation of Islam is still around today, of course, but it's not as influential as it was going back all the way back, back then, right? And it was ultimately dismantled because you had agents in the Nation of Islam as well during that time. Going back to where you had guys like Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X. That's all the like the 1950s, 1960s, right? And ultimately, that was even what ultimately led to the assassination of Malcolm X, the assassination of Martin Luther King, the assassination of, I think his name was Herbert Johnson, the vice president of the um what they call that group again, the one that works around the Black Panther Party, yeah, the vice president of the Black Panther Party. He also got assassinated as well. By and ironically enough, he was shot in his house by the police. Man, that's crazy. That just shows you, how Esau operates, and that's the same thing, and the reason why they were able to do that, right? Why Esau was able to just clamp down on all those civil rights leaders back then, and assassinate some, and ultimately, just try to, and ultimately just take away some of the momentum that the civil rights movement had, was because it was a council that was set up by men. So this is the book of Acts 5, verse 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply ye be found even to fight against the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And to him they agreed. And when they had called the apostles and beat, oh, hold on, I already read too much about that, right? So, basically what this is saying is that, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? That this truth was set up by men rather than the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Ultimately, it will come to naught. But that's the beautiful thing. Even at this point that we're in right now, you can clearly see that this truth is not coming to naught, man. When the prophecies were coming out back to back, and they still are, of course, but Jake is a dumbass now. They've gotten used to they've gotten used to the level at which prophecy is being fulfilled, and now all these scoffers and scorners are now coming out the woodwork again. And when the Most High Yahweh Shami Oshai kicks these things into a higher gear, and if you remember during that 2020-2021 period, you barely had anybody saying him against the Hebrew Israelites. But now they're all coming out of the woodwork ultimately, because it's like Jake has gotten used to the level at which prophecy is going forth now, right? With all the crisis that's going on the earth, all the hell that is breaking loose throughout the world, the famines, the earthquakes, the pestilences, I said earthquakes in diverse places, the wars and the rumors of wars, all these things are happening all over the earth, right? There is no safe haven in the world, but yet Jake is still out here acting like the men of the Lord haven't been talking about these kind of things happening for decades now. And assuredly, it will get worse. Okay. So now let's go back to that book of John. So this is the book of John 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. Right. And these agents that you see out here, they've chosen who their father is. Let me not say heavenly father, but who their father is. They've chosen, and they started with Esau Edom, which of course, if they are, let me just say that as well, because all this is alleged, right? Hasn't been confirmed if any Hebrew Israelite group is actually working with or for Esau Edom. So let's say if they truly are controlled opposition, right? That just shows that they are working for this devil. And this is the who Esau Edom is, not just a murderer, but a liar as well. So now, answer once again, John 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil. And let's just remember that the word devil goes back to the Greek word diabolos, which means false accuser, right? Let's get that precept. Right. So this is the Greek word for devil. Diabolos. Diabolos. Let's play that audio.
Strong's G 1228. Diabolos. Diabolos.
And it reads, prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely, a calumniator, false accuser, slanderer, metaphor applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, of course, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. And that just describes Esau Edom to the T. And this is why we call you the devil, man. And it's not just even only the Hebrew Israelites that call Esau Edom the devil. Even these Ishmaelites, the Arabs, they also call Esau the devil. Basically, everybody that knows and how this devil operates, and they see him for what he is, man. And the whole world is beginning to see you devils for what you are. Starting with, of course, the least of the flock. So let's continue on with that. So okay, I'm ready. Okay, so yeah, John 8 verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Right. So there are these controlled opposition groups, let me say it like that, are set up by Esau Edom, to come and sow discord out here in this truth, and to ultimately try to break apart this ministry and this work that we're doing. But alas, showing that you truly don't understand what you are involved in, and you think that Esau Edom, right, has the ability to even do something of that nature, you know. So anyway, let me end the video right here. So with that, once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Raka Kwadash Wa Abad Babal Shalawam. And through the spirit of you are calm and you are quite edified. Shalawam.